What up, this is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and here's my review of HBO Max new movie, An American Pickle. Hey, before you watch my review, please subscribe to my channel, press that like button, and ring that bell so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. And if you would like to help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Let's rock this. First up, I would like to say thank you to HBO Max for granting me the screener to this new film. To be honest, I did not know what to expect of An American Pickle. My initial thought was, geez, Seth Rogen pulling an Eddie Murphy playing multiple roles? Well, this ought to be splendid. And remember, I was the only person on earth who was not impressed with Rogen's movie last year, Long Shot. Everybody else was head over heels for it. But you know what? An American Pickle is actually not that bad. Despite endlessly stretching out its rivalry spirit and its fish out of water element, the movie is able to keep the jokes coming in strong. It's kind of like a cross between Mel Gibson's Forever Young and Will Ferrell's Step Brothers, and with a little hint of Michael Keaton's Multiplicity. An American Pickle is a hilarious comedy that also serves as Seth Rogen's personal pilgrimage to his Jewish heritage. Based on Simon Ridge's 2013 New Yorker series Sellout and directed by Brandon Trost, Seth Rogen plays Herschel Greenbaum, a struggling laborer in the early 1900s who, along with his wife, immigrate to America with dreams of building a better life for his beloved family. One day, while working at his factory lab, he falls into a vat of pickles and is brine, which preserves him perfectly for 100 years. He suddenly emerges in present-day Brooklyn and he hasn't aged a day, but when he seeks out his family, he is troubled to learn that his only surviving relative is his great-grandson, a mild-mannered app developer named Ben Greenbaum, also played by Seth Rogen, whom Herschel can't even begin to understand. Pickle in this movie could mean literally and figuratively. To those of us whose English may not be our first language, being in a pickle here means being in a tough spot or being in a tough situation, which is what both characters Ben and Herschel experience throughout the story. The difference is, Herschel always finds a way to rise above his hardship. Granted, through unethical ways and a lot of social media luck, but he's one of those people who can always come back up whenever he's knocked down, whereas Ben blames his predicament on Herschel and dedicates his days to toppling Herschel from his success. Screenwriter Simon Ridge injects some significant subtext here that pokes fun at hipsters, SJWs, and how our society can be easily persuaded by viral fame. It's not meant to be political, but the absurdity that this movie points out is kind of like holding a mirror up to our faces. And it's all built around the character Herschel, whose way of thinking would be considered wildly offensive in this day and age. Director Brandon Trost, who was actually the cinematographer for many of Seth Rogen's movies in the past, including Neighbors, This Is the End, and The Interview. He's a guy who clearly knows exactly how to play to Seth Rogen's strength. Usually, I would get annoyed by a film's excessive use of montages, but the montages in American Pickle are where they put in some of its best jokes and they actually help move things along. The parts that get me rolling on the floor are the interactions between Ben and Herschel. I don't mean this in a bad way, but prior to An American Pickle, I never considered Seth Rogen to be all that great of an actor. But this is probably the first time where I'm like, wow, this guy can actually transform himself into somebody else. Sure, Herschel's accent may be just a street block away from sounding like Borat, but Rogen effortlessly performs this extremely out of touch yet incredibly determined person. On the opposite end, Rogen as Ben is basically Rogen dialed down a notch, and the whole bouncing off of each other between them is very organic. I'm not sure what I can say about this film's Jewish heritage themes since I myself am not Jewish. I don't have that lived experience, but I think reconnecting to one's own past identity is something that can resonate with a lot of audiences. There's a sense of endearment underneath it that will make its way across just fine.